We want to encourage men to find their purpose in Christ. We have no strings attached here, so if this is your first time, this is actually a very new format. Typically, we actually have a speaker who will speak, and then we'll break out into Q&A. This is something new. We're really excited about it, but also don't want you to feel pressure. If this is something that's uncomfortable for you, if this is your first time and you're new, feel free to be a fly on the wall, okay? So you can participate. You can also just observe. But we're excited about this. So what we're trying to do is build community, and I think this is an opportunity for us to foster that. And so Tucker is going to help facilitate some conversation around these tables. So like I said, don't feel pressured. If this is something new and something you've never done, just listen, just hang out, and enjoy the company. But obviously, if you're comfortable, we'd love for you guys to dive into this, and excited for Tucker to drive this conversation and enjoy being here. So again, thanks you guys are here, and listen up to Tucker.
Thanks. All right, well, as you guys can tell, is that too loud? All right. We got a little different format tonight. Nobody needs to feel nervous. Probably the only person that's nervous in this room is my oldest daughter's boyfriend is in the house. So I won't point him out. I promise not to point him out, but in the house tonight. No, I'm not going to point him out. No. Sorry. No, you're not. All right. Hey guys, thanks for being here. We're going to try something a little different tonight, and like Matthew said, it's not meant to intimidate anybody. It's not meant to do anything but just give you an opportunity to get together and have a little bit of community. So enjoy it. Have a good time here with us tonight. Back in the 1850s, during the gold rush that happened in California, as legend would have it, there was an old man and a young man having a conversation one day, and the young man comes up to the old man and says, I'm just really having a hard time figuring out kind of what I'm going to do with my life. What's my purpose? Why can't I figure this out right away? Why am I struggling with this? And the old man says, yeah, y'all come on up and sit down. The old man says, hey, let's go take a walk. So they walk down to the river, and they see all these people out there prospecting for gold. And the young man is sort of dumbfounded and kind of looks around and says, well, okay, great, these guys are prospecting for gold. And the old man says, there's three types of guys that are here. Okay, there's three types of people that are here. The first is this prospector that goes out in this river, and he finds all the gold he could ever find right away, cashes out, and lives the rest of his life. And the second is a guy who looks for days, he looks for weeks, he looks for months, he looks for years, and he finally finds it, takes the gold, cashes it out, lives the rest of his life. The young guy's like, okay, I get it. Then he said, but there's also a third guy. There's a third guy that looks for a day, a week, a month, a year, years. And maybe he doesn't find it, but he quits after a day, after a week, after a year, whatever the scenario is. And the young guy's like, okay, what are you getting at? And he said, which person are you going to be in terms of trying to find your purpose? Are you going to go after it? And he's like, well, I guess. And the old guy goes, well, do you think there's gold in the river? The guy's like, yeah, there's probably gold in the river. So he tells him, hey, keep looking. Keep looking for that gold that's in the river. The point of that, guys, is we don't find out right away what our purpose is. It's something that we have to look for. It's something that we have to go after. How many of you guys have heard of a guy named Simon Sinek? Who's read this? Okay. There's a TED Talk out by Simon Sinek called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. Who has seen it? Okay, I checked it this morning, almost 49 million views of this TED Talk, okay? Almost 49 million views of this TED Talk. And Sinek is trying to get these guys to understand this concept that he has created called the golden circle. Okay, now you guys have cards on your table. Grab one of those for me. And I know you're probably not going to be able to see this real well, but you can see on there are these 3 circles, okay? And if you've seen this TED Talk, you know what Cynic is all about. It starts out here with what, then it goes into how, and then it goes to why, okay? Most people know what they do. A few people know how they do it, but very few people know why they do what they do, okay? And so what we want to look at tonight, guys, I'm going to basically help you create the answer to this, at least to get you started. It may not be something that you can succinctly get figured out tonight, but hopefully it's something that you can. Okay, most people go this way. Cynic says, I want you to go this way, okay? And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you my statement and how it progresses through this. And we're going to start at what, even though we're supposed to start at why, because we're going to build it from here and work our way in, okay? So what I do is I create purposeful and intentional community, okay? That's what I'm about. That's what I do in my world. How I do it is through pyramided offerings, okay? And by that, it's literally a pyramid. Less intense, more intense, more intense. Okay, it's through different offerings. But why I do it is to help guys like you discover and implement what their ministry is. So I create intentional and purposeful community down here. How I do it is through pyramided offerings, and why I do it is to help guys discover their own personal ministry. That's just to give you an idea. So what I want you to do right now, sitting around your table, you don't have to talk to anybody yet. It's okay. Nobody has to talk to anybody yet. But I want you to write down what you do. Now, you've got enough space on there. It can be your work. It can be your family. It can be even like physical fitness plan that you have or a social plan that you have. But I definitely want you to put down your work and what you do. And for those of you who are followers of Christ, Christians, I want you to put down your Christian what down in there. So take about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, write that down for me, and we'll come back up. Hey.
What do you mean by Christian what?
What do I mean by Christian what? What does your Christianity look like to you? Is that answer?
Yeah, sure.
Is that an affirmative? What is it about your Christian faith that means something to you? What does it look like for you? So just take a minute or 30 seconds or however long it is. Remember, it can be your work. I definitely want to put down your work. Family, physical goals, and what your faith looks like for you. Okay, now what I want you to do is just take about a minute and just share those around your table. Should be real easy to share. You don't have to share all of them. Just share a little bit of it around your table with the other guys sitting with you. I hope y'all had some good discussions. Hope you kind of figured out your, got some good conversation around your what. You got anybody a fan of The Office? Who's ever watched The Office? You guys ever watch The Office? One of my favorite episodes was season 3, The Traveling Salesman. Has anybody seen it? Any guys remember that one? Now, there's a particular scene in here. If you remember the premise of the show, Michael meets everybody out in the parking lot and says, okay, we're going to go on a sales call. So Jim and Dwight go on this sales call together, which in and of itself is fantastic. So they go into this guy's office, and they're sitting in this guy's office, and Jim is having a conversation with a guy. He's telling him about, the benefits of paper, and he's talking to him all this kind of stuff and their job. And Dwight, Dwight, awkward, weird, everything about that guy, says, hey, can I borrow your phone, to the guy that he's talking to. So he pulls the phone over, starts aggressively punching numbers, and ends up calling their direct competition, because the guy that they were trying to sell paper to said, we're only going to buy from the competition. Puts him on hold, and you can hear the hold music playing. And Dwight then looks at the guy that they're trying to sell paper to, and he says, still on hold, let me tell you what happens when we call Dunder Mifflin. Jim pulls out his flip phone. Anybody remember a flip phone? There's probably some guys in here that still have a flip phone. Not surprised. Ali Fuqua still has a flip phone. All right, that's fantastic. Jim pulls out his phone and goes, here's what happens when you call Dunder Mifflin. Calls him up. Kelly answers the phone. She starts blabbing, shuts it up. Dwight then jumps right up, and what does he say? If you guys remember the scene, he leans over the guy's desk, and he said, I never take vacations. I never get sick. I don't celebrate major holidays. Here's my card. It's got my home number, my pager number, my cell phone number, my work number. And the guy, what does the guy say? Sold, right? Guys, your how, and I'm sorry that y'all can't see this, but you can definitely see it on your own. You can see it on your piece of paper. You can see the how that's in here. Guys, the how is your differentiator. How many of you got, anybody in sales? Who's in sales in the room? Okay. Talk to me, what do you sell? Don't tell me paper. You sell insurance? Okay, you guys be careful, no, I'm just joking. Everybody's in sales, this is true. So everybody's in sales, right? So you sell insurance. How do you sell your what? And your what is your insurance. How do you sell it? Give me a selling tip. Talk about the benefits, right? Your differentiator, right? This is our proprietary process. This is something that we do differently, okay? How many of you guys have ever been to Starbucks? How many of you don't even know what Starbucks is? Anybody know? Okay, so we all know what Starbucks is, right? The guy that started Starbucks is a guy by the name of Howard Schultz. Have y'all read this book? Fantastic book. So he left. Actually, I found out, I was listening to a podcast the other day, found out he actually didn't start Starbucks. He actually worked for the first Starbucks in Seattle, right? The Pike Seafood Market, am I right on that? So he rises to the level of CEO. He leaves the company in the year 2000 and then comes back in 2008. And about 6 weeks after he's been on the job, he does something absolutely unprecedented. Does anybody remember what he did? What did he do, Alan? Don't know? Nobody knows what he did. What did he do February of 2008? Howard Schultz. Nobody. Shut down all 7,100 stores. Why? Because he wanted to teach them how to make a better espresso. True story. Shuts down all 7,100 stores. Greatest publicity thing he ever could have done, because he said, we're going to do something to separate ourselves. Guys, if you're in sales, you have to do something, right, to separate yourself. You know what you do. Did anybody nobody had a hard time coming up with what you do, right? The question's going to be now, guys, what I want you to kind of think through is, how do you do your what? How do you do your what it is that you do? If you sell insurance, how do you do it? If you're a lawyer, how do you do it? And get specific. How do you do your physical activity plan? Okay? How does your Christianity live itself out? Okay? How does your physical activity live itself out? I want you to think through the how, and I want you to try to get creative as you kind of begin to think through some of this. Take a minute. How do you do what you do? Remember, how is what you do differently, okay? What's your action? What are the steps that you do that make you different? All right, we finished up? Okay, I want you to take some time, take about 3 or 4 minutes around the tables, and I want you to talk this through with each other and see if you maybe can even help each other kind of figure this out. All right, guys. Hope y'all had some good conversation. Sounds like you did. We'll keep the conversation going. We'll keep the conversation going. Okay. Started at what? Moving to how. 2,500 years ago, there was a cupbearer by the name of Nehemiah, who was a cupbearer to a king in a foreign land where he lived. He learned through a series of events that the wall around his city in Jerusalem was torn down, was broken down, it was beyond repair. Now, back in these days, having a wall around your city meant an awful lot of things, but it gave you a sense of security physically, but also mentally. So he learns through a series of events that this wall is broken down. So he goes to his king and says, I need to travel back to my homeland to be back there so that I can fix this, wall. Because I need to do this, and why I need to do this is to provide stability and security for the people that I love. And there's a particular line in this letter where people try to come to him while he's there rebuilding this wall, and he looks at these guys very intently, and he says, I can't stop what I'm doing because I'm doing a great work. Guys, why? Your why is the great work that you do. It's your purpose, it's your cause, it's your action. Okay? That's your why. And this is the hardest thing to figure out. Most of you were easy with this, a little maybe a bit more challenging here. But why do you do, how you do, and what you do? That's a hard thing to figure out. And I hope for a lot of you guys that you'll start to come up with, yes, we've sort of looked at some of these ancillary things, and these are great, but you really start looking at your own purpose statement. Okay, you start digging down and figuring out, why do I do how I do and what I do? And that's not easy to figure out. You guys can see on the back of this card where you've been writing stuff down in the corner. What do you see down there? Light switch, okay? One of my favorite books of all time is this book called The On Purpose Person. And you've got it, it's on there on the front of your card, the guy that wrote it, a guy named Kevin McCarty. And guys, he equates that when you figure out the why, okay, that you are either moving towards your purpose or you're moving away from it. And this guy, Nehemiah, knew what he had to do, and he knew why he had to do it. So he told the king, this is what I'm going to be about. And I'm going to move towards this goal to figure out, because he knew what his purpose was. And guys, that's probably not something that a lot of you are going to be able to sit in this room tonight and get figured out. You're probably going to struggle to answer why when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of your lives. Okay, that's maybe going to be a hard thing for you to answer. But I hope that it's something that kind of gets the wheels turning. You guys have had a long day at work. You thought, hey, I'm just going to come and sit in a bunch of rows, and I'm not going to have to talk. I'm not going to have to do anything. And you walk in, and you're like, crap, there's tables all around the room. I got to actually look at people. I'm not going to like that guy. Why am I sitting at a table with him? But guys, I want you to really, my hope, and really my prayer for you guys, it is you really begin to figure out the why of how you do and what you do. And it's not easy, and I know it's not easy. Now, there's some of you in this room that you sat down and you saw this and you sat down in about 10 seconds and just scratched it out. You knew exactly what it was. Those are outliers. Most of us really struggle with this. Most of us are the second person in that story that we look for days and weeks and months and years to find the gold. And obviously the gold is tied into looking and finding what our purpose is going to be. And for those of us that are followers of Christ and are Christians, the why of our purpose hopefully is something that you can articulate. And hopefully it's something that you begin to understand it, and it is finding its way into every day of your lives. So this is going to be a little bit harder. This is going to be a little bit harder. This is going to be a little bit more challenging. And again, I get it. 8:50 on a Wednesday night after it's rained all day, and rained, it feels like for like the last 300 years. I'm not sure it's ever going to stop raining. This may be too much for you to figure out, but my thing is for you guys, make a step in the right direction. Make a step in the right direction and start thinking through the why of your how and what. So take some time now, sit there around your tables, and take 60 seconds, kind of start formulating, and then we'll take some time. I've got a couple of closing thoughts, and then we'll have a few questions, and we can get you guys out of here. Okay, and as you guys get it figured out, you can have some conversation around your tables. And if your brain hurts too much, you can just sit there quietly. All right. I just realized it was 9 o'clock, so we'll bring it back up. Just curious, was anybody able to come up with a very succinct what, how, why? Anybody? Were you really, Adam? Will you tell? Say it loud. Listen up. Yep.
To remain a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ, giving all of my might, mind, and soul, to bring about His will through my life.
Wow. Well done. Y'all can clap. Come on. We'll take it. That's good stuff. Thank you. And Adam was not a plant. He actually came up with that. I didn't give him that 3 weeks ago so he could get it all figured out. Anybody else bold? Anybody else brave? Really? All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Raise your hand. You're wearing a sport coat. Come on, we don't allow that in here. Come on. Take that thing off. Well, you should be nervous because you're standing up. You're the only one standing up. Tell your whole thing, your succinct statement. Yeah, what, how, why? Just what we've been talking about.
I was trying to get my pen working at the time, so I only got transform people's lives and then ... And then the how, heal, transform, grow myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and relationship-wise to the deepest point to be able to impact the most people as possible in the deepest way by attracting people to be able to help them through doing it myself first. The why, a prayer I've been praying about 6 months is God, make me your assistant in the spiritual and your general in the physical. My why is to be Lord's general here on earth, make as much money as possible, to give as much money away as possible, kind of like the Andrew Carnegie philosophy. Help as many people as possible identify and execute on their purpose, and help as many people find God, because I feel I am called and anointed to be His general on earth.
All right. Here's my challenge. Get that down to one sentence. Seriously. Be able to write it on the back of a business card, because I bet you can. Okay? Remember, what I do is create intentional purpose for community. How I do that is through pyramided offerings, and why I do it is to help guys discover and implement their ministry. Flip it around, and it sounds totally different, right? I help guys discover and implement their ministry through a pyramided offerings of intentional and purposeful community. You need to be able to get it down that succinctly, okay? Because you need to be able to get on an elevator with somebody, and you need to be able to, and they need to say, hey, give me your 30-second, what's your purpose? Give me your purpose statement. Be able to crank that thing out. You could go all the way to the top of the Empire State Building and back down and not say what you said. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It's too easy, right? Too easy. I couldn't help it. All right, we up? Okay. Guys, here's the challenge. We're going to bring it to a close. I want you to be able to clearly and succinctly have your statement of your life. If you're a follower of Christ, it needs something about that needs to be tied in, or a good 75-cent word inculcated into your statement, okay? That's what I want to challenge you guys to come up with. At the bottom of that sheet, right beside that light switch, is my cell phone number. Hang on to it. Give me a call if you want to sit down and have a conversation. This is what I do, and I am happy to do it, and I'm happy to walk with you guys. I hope that your brains hurt a little bit. I hope you feel a little bit uncomfortable. I hope you feel a little bit challenged to push yourselves and to really push yourself to figure out this statement, and hopefully you really can start with why. So thanks.
Thanks, Tucker. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something else. Oh, that was weird. Whew. All right. Hey, guys, can we give it up for Tucker Yates? Thanks for this evening. So, did anybody else have an awkward moment at their table? Raise your hand. No? If you didn't, come and find me afterwards, because if you don't know me, I love to have awkward conversations. We really hope you guys enjoyed this format this evening. As Tucker and Matthew said, we're just trying to branch out, experiment, have a little bit different type of evening. We're really glad that you guys came. We're really glad that you're a part of this. We're looking forward for you coming in the future. We've got something at the table back there. David is managing it. And we've got these really sweet shirts. There it is on the front. It's our standard issue logo. Pretty slick on the back. Tucker's going to be modeling them afterwards. But our idea here is, we've done this in the past, but we're switching it up. And our idea here is to give forward. And if you foresee yourself having a friend, inviting somebody else this year, wanting to provide somebody else the opportunity to come to a low barrier environment that gives them the opportunity to achieve more community, meet more people that are like-minded, have these conversations that we're having tonight, there's a t-shirt back there for you. And we ask that if you take one, you'd be willing to give $100 by the end of this year. It's total honor system. No one's tracking you other than Tim Cook. We've got a camera up there that's going to be monitoring everybody with AI, so don't worry about that. No, but seriously, we'd love for you to take one if you're enjoying yourself, if you think that you'd want to bring a friend at any point this year, and that you see yourself wanting to contribute $100 or more by the end of the year to Purpose on Tap. It was Tucker's idea, I can't steal it. We actually have a name tag on here with the website to remind you as you are sticking it in your washing machine with the URL. So you can't forget it, and you probably feel pretty guilty if if you didn't do it. So our next meeting is on April 1st. No joke. Seriously though, no joke, April 1st. We'll be back to regular format. We're really excited about it. We also have a few other things that we're gonna be doing later this year that we haven't done before. One of them, we're gonna be doing another, thanks to Tucker, a Braves game in July. We just bought a block of tickets at the 755 Club, and it's come as you are, and we're really looking forward to that. So stay on your email, look out for it, and we look forward to seeing you on April 1st. Thanks for coming, guys.
One more thing.
And
Hey,
Tucker has something else.
Hold on one sec. Hold on just 1 second. Am I on? I'm not on. Hey, if you guys do not need to rush out. If y'all are having a good conversation around your table, stick tight. Some guys are going to get up and leave. We do eventually need to leave, but stick around if you want to have 10 or 15, 10 minutes of conversation around your table. Help yourself.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Cheers.